Okay, everybody, let's just settle into an, oh, I have to turn my emails off. It's going to drive me nuts, and you as well. So just 1 second, sorry. All right, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. It looks like Barbara's already there. Well done, Barbara. All right. So I think you guys, just for the purpose of the meditation, if you feel like, if you put yourselves onto gallery view, then you get a sense of being a part of a community meditating together. So you can do that. And then, of course, Samantha will start sharing the slides, but that's up to you. But I somehow feel that it's quite nice to get a sense that you're in a group. So let's just settle in, a nice, comfortable seated posture, feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Really try and feel the sensations of the feet on the floor or in your socks or your shoes, and the backs of the leg on your chair, the weight of the leg on the chair, and the sits bones in the chair. And you may have your legs crossed. If you're sitting in the regular meditation posture, perhaps just put a couple of cushions under your knees and maybe something under your sits bones, under your coccyx, just to raise you up a little bit, change the angle of the pelvis. Now imagine your shoulders, well, not imagine, but do align your shoulders with your hips. And as best you can, your ears with your shoulders. Excuse me. And then just lengthen your spine. Just imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So maybe you can imagine someone above you or behind and above you, just pulling that string and you're just lengthening and then relaxing at the same time. So just settle into this position, comfortably relaxed, and then just go to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and forehead and eyes and nose and cheeks and your mouth, and the jaw and the back of the tongue. Relax the temples, the ear, the inner ear. Relax the back of the head and the neck. So put a bit of length in the back of the neck and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. You might notice the nostrils, the thoracic cavity, and the belly. Be aware of any sounds in your environment, just trying not to investigate all the different noises and sounds and maybe even smells. And just allow them to be there. And then just maybe now check in with yourself, check in with your mind and see what's going on there. And just allow the thoughts to bubble up. And to abide, and then maybe, without following the story, these thoughts will dissipate. So be curious about what's in the mind. Just take a step back, view from a distance maybe. And then just bring to mind the people of your life, loved ones, very precious friends, spouses, children, grandchildren, and strangers. We have very little feeling for strangers. And then all of our, ones we find irritating. And these relationships can be interchangeable, and they're all equal. They all want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for unlimited Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life and for all sentient beings. And Ginny, if you're here, I think you're here. Judith mentioned your grandson has some issues, so we dedicate for Ginny's grandson, who's 16, and then all these people who've been caught up in this earthquake in Myanmar and Thailand. And maybe a few other places there in Southeast Asia. And then think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead, which is what we're doing with this practice. So we start with this power of regret, this Vajrasattva practice in the context of the 4 opponent powers, and sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we can't bear the thought of any more suffering. So it makes sense, logically, to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor. So not as somebody, who's going to forgive us. It's not a higher power we're looking for. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teachers manifesting in this form for your benefit. So this makes it a little more personal for us. And Vajrasattva is made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have this little section on compassion, and in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. This is why it's in the section on reliance. So the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy. So this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification using mantra and visualization. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of your speech. And this time, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown. And it fills your entire body. And then it just kind of forces up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space. not one atom left. So you just imagine all the gossip, and the inappropriate speech, and the harsh speech, and the useless kind of rabbiting on speech, and lying, talking about people behind their backs, and just kind of rounding up everybody else to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempiyata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dinapatita, Drita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So again, feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech, including yourself and anything you read, anything you write, anything you put on social media. This all represents your speech. So next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this kind of arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's as instant as when you walk into a room that's black, pitch black, and you flick on a switch. It's the same here. The moment the light that hits the heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, attachment, neediness, bitterness, grudges, anger, depression, anxiety, disappointments, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe, and vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. Again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And imagine now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness, forgiveness and wisdom, and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. So imagine the nectar coming down, pouring down, purifying the negativities of the body, and the nectar flowing up and out and purifying the negativity of the speech, and then the light coming. And this is all happening simultaneously. And imagine this action of light and nectar eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Setukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and speech and mind. And, we want to think again, but, we're human. We have these habits. But without making a determination, without making a decision, absolutely nothing is going to happen. We'll just keep following the same old habits over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to refrain from harming becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So rejoice in your efforts for coming along tonight. I mean, everybody's got something going on in their life. So just rejoice in your efforts. Extraordinary. And then think of something you'd like to work on between now and maybe Monday. Some of you might do the practice over the weekend, but if you don't, just work on it. Try and get some awareness around what's going on in your mind and maybe what your energetic habits are. And maybe think about how you talk to yourself over the weekend. Maybe just make that your kind of project for the weekend. Just check in every now and then and see how you speak to yourself. So let's just imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So we think about a little bit of meditation on emptiness, as Lama Zopa Rinpoche recommends. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. Maybe also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Okay, we're up to 88. Great wish-fulfilling tree, most plentiful, the greatest of all great auspicious vases, fulfilling the aims of living beings, a doer, an ally most beloved to all creatures. Aware of good and bad, aware of times, the omnipresent knower of the pledges, upholding pledges, conscious of occasions, awake to varied aptitudes and beings, with expertise in threefold liberation. With virtues knowing Dharma, auspicious source of all auspiciousness, of all auspicious things, the most auspicious, great splendor, glory good, most prosperous. Okay, everybody. Let's just have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation is how they talk about it. And then for all of your own individual teachers, whether it be your Western teachers, your precious Geshis, precious Western teachers, precious Geshis, precious, even your yoga teacher, you wish for them to live long because they're helping you. All right, everyone. Samantha, thank you for hosting. Lots of love, everybody. Sleep well. Have a wonderful day, Shrey. It's probably your weekend already. Yeah, have a good weekend. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.